Alchemy Star has over 125 playable characters. With that many characters in a game, we are bound to misjudge some of the hidden gem. What's up, my nerd friends? Today I want to showcase some of the characters that I rated low before, but now I have completely changed my mind. At the end of this video, I can guarantee you will learn something that 90% of Alchemy Star players do not know. Number 1. Hachi Gin. Oh boy, where do I start? Hachi Gin might as well be the most confusing unit in the entire game.
Huh?
At first, I thought he's just a budget sniper that can do decent damage, but turns out he's the highest active skill damage dealer for a 2x2 enemy. He is very strong, but most people wouldn't realize this by just looking at his kit. You have to actually test him. Keep in mind, you will need to ascend him to Ascension 3 for this to work. And if you want to go for optimal damage, you also would need to get the equipment level 10. So in order for you to do the maximum amount of damage, you need to be on the correct position because of how Hachi Gin active skill works. The easiest way to do this is using a teleport such as Echo so you can reposition frequently. I developed a box method for you to easily see where you should stand in order to do maximum damage. Just imagine there are these 2x3 boxes on the battlefield, and the best position to launch your active skill are marked with red colors. You also need to make sure there is at least one row available behind the boss. The further you are away from the boss, the better. After you get into the position, you will realize the active skill actually curve and hit the boss 3 times, and another 3 times on the way back. This makes it that you hit the boss 6 times per active skill, even though he only have 4 tiles available. You thought that's all? No. His equipment makes his active skill deal more damage per cluster travel. Unlike many other units that says increased damage, which is additive, Hachi Gin equipment uses the final damage term, which is multiplicative. So if you are using 200% to multiply however many clusters you travel, let's use this for example. These 2 hits are 1 cluster away from Hachi Gin, so it's 200% multiplied by 115%. These 2 are 130%, this one is 145%, and you get the point. Up until Gin, the active skill has reached 190% final damage. And now, for the second round. Because of how we position ourselves, the active skill Gin direct back can also hit the boss 3 times, and the damage will continue to increase from 190%. After all those complex math, I know you all been waiting for this, the total damage. Hachi Gin was able to hit for a whopping 2,280% of his attack, and this active skill only has 2 cooldowns. Heck, even Michael only does 1,280% of his attack with her active skill, and he has 3 cooldowns. So now that you saw how strong this active skill truly can be on a 2x2 enemy, maybe you should consider racing our furry bros. Just saying. Number 2. Frostfire. Frostfire is the Fire OCO Aurorian. It was deemed by the community being the weakest OCO Aurorian. I was one of them. I thought there is pretty much no reason to use Frostfire when Chandra already exists. Boy was I wrong. Frostfire is a very unique character that can completely solo carry the entire stage provided the situation is right. She actually has the highest burst damage on 1 turn in the entire Alchemy Star roster, provided if you sacrifice high enough. The moment I realized I was wrong is during the fight with the Danger Zone Ferocian. As far as I know, to achieve 5,000 score in that stage, you will need a max breakthrough Frostfire. The key here is the max breakthrough. When Frostfire achieves max breakthrough, active skill increase damage by 10% each time active skill is cast. This buff has no cap whatsoever, so that it means the multiplier can be very high if you spam this ability a lot of times. Spoilers, you can. The reason is because of her equipment. Gain 5 wits at the start of every round. Gain an extra 5 wits when killing a target with an active skill. So, as long as you kill more than 2 enemies per use of active skill, you can use this active skill however many times you want. In the Ferocian stage, 4 clones will spawn every round. So if you do it right, that's basically 20% active skill damage increase every round. Since there is 20 rounds in this stage, you can potentially buff your active skill damage up to 580% per cast. At that point, just unleash all your remaining vests on the boss for an easy win. On my last tier list, I rated Frostfire. I really tempted to put here at no one use, but I think that's still a little bit too harsh. I think that's a little bit too harsh for Frostfire. So I'm just gonna put her at good as some sages. If you manage to get her maximum breakthrough, I do think she can be used in some stage. Well, you already know what it is. Frostfire should be at least in the best in some stages tier. Of course, this is not saying you must raise her. In fact, I don't even have her raise. I simply used one of my friend level 80 max breakthrough Frostfire. Thank you, Seth. What you should do instead is don't look down on her on stages that actually has many monster spawns. She can be potentially very broken over there. Number 3. Eve. Eve is a thunder detonator with questionable chain combo pattern. Why though? But don't be fooled by her class here. Eve is not a destroyer of big eclipsite, but a master of single town damage dealer. Eve has the second highest damage per active skill in the game, the first being Lola. And I know what you wanted to say. No, Tessa, Mythos, and Requiem with a lot of stack doesn't count. But I already know that. So what was I wrong about Eve? Well, I didn't think that a good enough active skill damage was enough to make her a good unit. But after playing through the newest event, Danger Zone, there is a lot of boss having damage reduction from normal attack. Turns out when you remove the option to damage using normal attack, active skill damage is probably your second best bet. With the inclusion of Luqua from the Dragon Main collab, active skill damage team is even more legit now. Other than damage, Eve is also one of the best shield destroyer in the game with 20 hits per active skill and 25 if you have the max breakthrough. But of course, no Eclipsite in the game has damage shield, right? What? Seeing how Formless get 20 shield right away, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Turok start to introduce more boss with even more shield, maybe even 100 stack of shield, because why not? It's a matter of time at this point. Oh, Eve can also stun. Did you know that? Stun is great because you can remove the elite status that a lot of Eclipsite have these days. And well, the enemy is stunned. You can buy you one more extra turn pretty much. So that's pretty cool as well. You know what else is pretty cool? You clicking the like button. I spent a lot of time and effort to make these videos. Clicking the like button will help the video to spread to more people. So thank you. Number 4, Luke. Now, don't get me wrong. Luke is good. And never once in my life I have said Luke was bad. Luke probably has the highest single town damage in Thunder units. He has very high attack. He has a good chain combo that do high damage to one single town enemy. But that's about it. At least that's what I thought. I severely underestimate how good this active skill is. Luke gains 3 Scion per round and can stack up to 9 stack. There are 3 reasons why this active skill is insanely good. First, each Scion is actually 1 instant of damage, so it's pretty good for destroying shield as well. Not as good as Eve, but most of the time Eclipsite don't even have 20 shield anyway. Secondly, Luke has 0 cooldown on his ability. That means he can pair very well with Tessa, providing high amount of Tessa mark. But the best part is actually the equipment. The equipment allows active skill and chain combo to inflict 1 stack of parasitic mark each time they deal damage. At maximum stack, which is 9 stack, enemy will take 162% of Luke attack per town move. The craziest thing is, this works on enemy who can teleport, such as Formless, making Formless take almost 1300% damage every time he moves. And not only that, Parasitic Mark also does thunder damage, which means water unit will take more damage as well. Luke is pretty much an absolute monster when dealing with Formless. And for Formless, you better run if you see Luke. Oh wait, that's how you die. Number 5, Cordy. Turns out, 1 cooldown paralyze or stun is pretty good. Who would have known? Cordy is a fire detonator with an ability to disable enemy using active skill. Honestly, nothing much to say here. You use her if you need paralyze or stun. She's cheap, no breakthrough needed, has the lower cooldown compared to other Aurorian that also has paralyze or stun. But on my last fire tier list, I rated her no one use her. And you might be thinking, why? Well, honestly, I don't remember either. I always knew she has potential, but I just couldn't find much use for her. when I made that tier list. After playing through some data discs and the endgame 2.0, Cordy is pretty useful for removing elite monster awakened status, and that's pretty much all you need to know. Number 6. Clover. Clover is an interesting one. Initially, I completely ignore her, simply because she's a 3-star. I know, I'm a starist. But Clover is actually pretty good. Her chain combo can hit 2 times and therefore grant enemy 2 stack of poison. Her active skill double the poison on an enemy, which basically means grant 2 stack of poison if enemy has more than 2 stack of poison. Honestly, that's pretty much it. She can do poison damage, and she is pretty much the plush shape variant of Lester, and Lester being the X-shape variant. If you want to build a damage over time team, or if enemy doesn't move at all, so Lester active skill is useless, Clover is a choice you can consider. Now I have let you know mine. It's your turn to let me know. Who is your favorite underrated character? With 125 characters in the game, I'm bound to miss some, and if you have a favorite unit, let me know in the comments. You know what else is underrated? Low rarity units. Watch this video next to know the top 5 4-star Aurorian in Alchemy Star. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.